Have you ever heard of mafia? This is an Italian word that means a criminal organization, group, or syndicate. The word mafia was first used in 19th century Sicily to describe organized crime. In America, it's been made famous by Hollywood films that show a powerful criminal organization, controlling many illegal activities through violence and fear. In this story today, we will be looking at a scary case where a man was sentenced to death by the mafia for killing their son, and he actually smiled at his killer. Imagine being sentenced to death by your own child. How would you feel if you knew that your son was going to take your life away? Would you be scared, angry, or sad? What if the person who killed you was laughing while doing it? This is exactly what happened to one man when he was killed by his son for betraying the mafia. Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we will be telling you about the only man who smiled while being killed by his own son, so make sure to watch the video till the end. But before we start the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you will be notified whenever we post a new video. Bartolomeo was born into a poor family in eastern Sicily. Since he had no money, he couldn't get a good education and had no prospects for a decent job. So he joined a local crime organization and earned enough money to help his family survive. After some time, Bartolomeo became the head of the organization and changed its name to the Sicilian Mafia Commission. Under his leadership, the organization grew exponentially and began controlling all major criminal activities in Sicily, including gambling, drug trafficking, and prostitution. At the height of his power, he decided to write down all the rules that members of his organization had to abide by, which are now known as the Mafia Oaths. Anyone who wanted to join the Sicilian Mafia Commission had to swear to these rules, which included never betraying another member, never revealing secrets to outsiders, and always being ready to defend the honor of the organization. If any member broke these rules, they would be expelled from the mafia and left to die. During his lifetime, he was able to amass great wealth and lived in a mansion with his wife and children. He had two sons, Santino and Santi. When Santino was old enough, he was sent to a military academy in Florence to learn how to fight and handle himself. At the same time, Santi was sent to a boarding school in Switzerland to learn the art of business. As soon as Santino graduated from the military academy, he returned home and told his father that he wanted to join him in the family business. Bartolomeo was furious because he didn't want his son to get involved in dangerous activities. But Santino insisted until his father agreed to let him join the organization. On the other hand, Santi didn't have much interest in criminal activities. After graduating from a prestigious business school, he started working for his father's business rival. This made Bartolomeo very angry, and he ordered Santino to kill his brother. Even though Santino didn't want to go against his own flesh and blood, he had no choice but to follow his father's orders. He invited Santi for dinner and then shot him in front of everyone. After the funeral, Santino asked his father why he had to kill his own brother. In response, Bartolomeo told him that there was no room for traitors in their organization and that Santi had chosen to work for their rivals. Santino understood his father's point of view and accepted that what he did had to be done. However, this event haunted him for the rest of his life. Years passed, and one day Santino decided to leave the mafia life behind. He wanted to start a new life and move to America with his girlfriend. He told his father about his plans, but Bartolomeo didn't approve. In fact, he was furious. "You can't leave. You are a soldier in my army, and you will do whatever I ask you to do," Santino replied. "No, father, I am not a soldier anymore. I want to live a normal life." This angered his father even more, and he took out a gun. Do you know what happens to soldiers who disobey their commanders? They are court-martialed and executed. Santino was shocked to see the rage in his father's eyes and quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, father, I didn't mean to disrespect you. I just want to start a new life." Bartolomeo calmed down a bit and told him that he would think about it, and then went back to his room. Santino tried to convince his father to let him go, but Bartolomeo refused. He told Santino to pack his things because he was leaving early in the morning. When Santino's girlfriend heard this, she started crying and hugged him tightly. "I don't want to leave you, Santi, but I have no choice. My father finds out that I'm still here, he will kill me." The next morning, Santino got into his car and drove away from the house. As soon as he disappeared from sight, Bartolomeo came to the window and watched him leave. He was sad because he had lost his son, but he had no choice. It was better for Santino to leave than to stay in the mafia world. However, Bartolomeo didn't know that this was just the beginning. A few months after Santino left, he returned home to visit his family. He was surprised to find a big house empty. He knocked on the door and introduced himself. "Hello? Is anyone home?" A man opened the door and looked at him suspiciously. "What do you want?" Santino replied. "I'm looking for my father. You know where he lives?" The man shook his head. "Sorry, I don't know him." Santino wasn't buying his answer, so he followed the man inside and saw several mafia members sitting around a table playing cards. One of them had a gun in his hand and he pointed it at Santino. "Get out before I shoot you." Santino was scared, but he wasn't going to leave without his father. Just then, a man stood up from his chair and walked toward Santino. "Who are you, and what do you want?" he asked. Santino replied, "I am Bartolomeo's son. I have come to see him." The man was stunned. "You are the traitor who left the mafia." "Why are you here?" Santino said. "I haven't betrayed anyone. I just wanted to start a new life. Please tell me where my father is." The man looked at him for a moment and then replied, "He is dead." Santino was shocked. "What? How did he die? Who killed him?" The man sat back down in his chair and said, "That's none of your business." Santino was furious. "How dare you talk to me like that? Tell me what happened to my father." The man stood up again and approached Santino. He leaned close to his ear and whispered something. "Your father was killed by your own hand. He died a hero's death protecting the honor of our family." After saying this, he turned around and walked away. Santino couldn't believe what he had just heard. His father had been killed by him? But how he remembered the last time he saw his father. They were both in the car, and he had a gun in his hand. Could it be possible that his father had shot him? He didn't remember anything about it? Suddenly, everything started to come back to him. He remembered driving home from the meeting. His father was in the passenger seat, and they were both silent. Then suddenly a car pulled over beside them. Two men got out and started shooting at them. Santino stepped on the gas and tried to run them over, but the men were too quick. They jumped out of the way just as the car was about to hit them. Then one of the men grabbed his gun and fired several shots at them. Santino felt a sharp pain in his chest and slumped over the steering wheel. He must have blacked out because the next thing he remembered was waking up in a hospital bed. It all came rushing back to him now. His father had been killed by those two men. He could still hear his screams echoing in his ears. Was that why his father had ordered him to kill his brother? Because Santi had betrayed them by working for their rivals? No wonder he had refused to let him go. If he knew what was going to happen, maybe he wouldn't have listened to his father. But now it was too late. His father was dead and there was nothing he could do to bring him back. Santino left the house and walked down the street. He didn't know where he was going. All he could think about was his father's lifeless body lying in a pool of blood. Suddenly, he felt a tap on his shoulder and turned around to see one of the mafia members from earlier. "Can I help you?" he asked. Santino shook his head and continued walking.